Hello and welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Omotayo Alo. Nominees on the ministerial list have begun lobbying senators representing the state ahead of next week's screening exercise. Senior Special Assistant to the President of National Assembly Affairs, Ita Eyang, dropped the hint while briefing journalists on Friday. He also maintained that the presidency cannot question the Senate's decision to demand asset declaration forms of the nominees. The CIA has more in this report.
Petitions.
One of the conditions set by the Senate is that a minimum of 2 senators from the state of a ministerial nominee must show support for the nomination. Little wonder that these individuals have begun the process of winning the lawmakers to their side. Presidential aide Itaenan confirms this development.
They have to go and meet their respective senators because it is their senators, the president has nominated them, they have been nominated to the Senate. The senators representing their respective states are their first line of defense. They are their immediate sponsors other than the Senate leader. And you have to show respect, and absolute respect to the senators. And every other thing will fall in place.
And not keen to be seen as interfering in the process, the presidency is not prepared to trade words with the Senate on the requirement for nominees to declare their assets and send in their acknowledgement forms. It admits that the Senate has the power to set any conditions they deem necessary.
The Senate has the absolute constitutional power to set its own rules and criteria for carrying out its functions. And we will not say any word that will not bring amity, or will rather consult and work with them. We'll maintain the greatest principle of working, and the greatest principle are 3: consultation, consultation, and consultation.
For Senator Enang, who spoke for the first time since his appointment as the presidential advisor on legislative matters, every necessary step is being taken to ensure that all the nominees scale through the screening. The confirmation hearing for the first batch of the ministerial nominees is expected to run from Tuesday next week to Thursday. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Former Anambra State Governor Chris Ngige says President Muhammad Buhari considered cognate experience in compiling his list of ministerial nominees. Ngige, who is one of the nominees, told State House correspondent that the president deliberately picked those he is convinced will help drive his change agenda. The one-time senator also does not see a need for President Buhari to attach portfolios to the list sent to the Senate.
You observe that Mr. President wants to go on his voyage with people who have cognate experience in governance. And when I mean cognate experience, it's people who have been tested and tried and trusted by their various people. So I don't think Nigerians should expect anything less than what Mr. President is already doing.
So some Nigerians are, complaining or criticizing the fact that there was no portfolio attached to the name. Do you think that has any difference?
The Constitution doesn't say you must attach portfolio. The Constitution just prescribes that those to be appointed minister must have qualifications that to enable them to be members of the House of Representatives. That is the minimum. And for the age for House of Representatives is lower than that of the Senate. And educational qualification is enshrined in the Constitution for you to be member of House of Reps. So there is nothing there about not attaching portfolio.
The Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammad Buhari in National Assembly matters, Ita Enang, has declared that there is no rift between the leadership of the National Assembly and its principal. Enang made this known while speaking with journalists in his office. He added that the fact that President and the leadership of the National Assembly, led by the Senate President Bukola Saraki, had a fruitful deliberation at the presidential villa recently showed that there was no war between them.
I'm sure that you can begin to feel the political temperature, that peace has descended in the mind and psyche of Nigerians and Nigeria, that there is relationship between the executive and the legislature, which were thought to be on heat, has been fully, perfectly, effectively restored and effectively cemented, and the public is now aware. I want to say that the conjectures, as there were, of a rift between the executive and the legislature were actually and definitely, and speaking on all honesty, a conjecture. There wasn't.
The Elections Petition Tribunal sitting in Isabo, Abeokuta, Ogun State, has nullified the election of Senator Burji Kashamu, representing Ogun East Senatorial District in the Red Chamber. The tribunal has ordered rerun election in 110 polling units of senatorial district.
We are totally dissatisfied, so we are going to appeal. But like I said to my lords, they are human. They are entitled to be wrong. It is our view that the tribunal was in error in the judgments that they have delivered. But we shall take the appropriate steps.
Well, we all had the opportunity of listening to all the judgments. Obviously, we didn't get all that we wanted, but we got something substantial, and to that extent, we were happy. My initial reaction at this stage is to say that, well, the tribunal justices did all they could within their professional ability towards doing the right thing.
In this time, litigation, somebody must win, somebody must lose. So we have the bad, the good, and the ugly. We won some, we lost some. So that is the beauty of the practice.
The Lagos State National Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal has upheld the declaration of Femi Gbajabiamila as the winner of the March 28, 2015 House of Representatives election in the Surulere Federal Constituency 1. The Justice C.U. Anwuka-led three-man tribunal rejected the petition challenging the victory of Gbajabiamila and his party, the All Progressives Congress, in the said election. Gbajabiamila, who is now the majority leader of the House of Representatives, was declared winner of the said election by the Independent National Electoral Commission after pulling 21,715 votes. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Tony Ashikodi, who pulled 14,550 votes to match the first runner-up, rejected the result and added for the tribunal to challenge Gbajabiamila's victory. Ashikodi alleged irregularities and a breach of the guidelines set out by the INEC for the conduct of the election. He claimed that Gbajabiamila and his party did not score the highest number of valid votes in the election and should not have been declared winner by INEC. He also claimed that the number of votes cast exceeded the number of registered voters. But the tribunal, in its ruling, held that the petitioner failed to prove his case beyond reasonable doubt, holding that the evidence adduced were not sufficient to establish the allegations raised. The Election Petitions Tribunal hearing matters arising from the last National Assembly election sitting in Osogbo has dismissed the petition filed against the election of Yinka Ajayi, representing Ifelodun Boripe Odotun. Federal Constituency, Osun State. The People's Democratic Party candidate in the election, Kayode Odoye, had approached the Justice A.G. Kajafa-led tribunal panel to challenge the victory of Ajayi of APC at the election on the basis of gross election malpractice and irregularities. Justice Kajafa in his ruling noted that the petitioner failed to present and establish evidences in support of his claims that there was no compliance to Electoral Act and the Manual of Election, hence the unanimous decision to strike it out. Counsel to the parties in the petition, however, differ in the response to the ruling.
In law, he who has had must prove. They came to court challenging the election victory, the electoral victory of the first respondent, and they were unable to prove their matter. So, on that basis alone, the court is at liberty to dismiss their matter, and the court has rightly done so. The court did justice to what transpired in the open court.
Happy about the verdict today. The Lordship touched on all issues that were raised in the petition. Particularly, we are happy that we raised objections to some aspects of the paragraphs of the petition which was upheld by the tribunal. Then they evaluated the witnesses one by one. We are happy about it, and we have no complaint about this judgment. It's in tandem with what we are saying, that the election was free, was fair, and credible. Don't forget that INEC, the Supreme INEC themselves, 3 people, the electoral officers of each of the local government, they came out to say the election was good and credible.
Well, one of the reasons why it was dismissed was that the petitioner is supposed to call witnesses from each of the polling units and their wards. And in the recent of it, well, the court has spoken. I don't want to say much. The court has spoken. And the next thing for the petitioner is to explore the next line of action within the ambit of the law. Yeah, well, in a situation like this, there is a right of appeal. So the petitioner can still appeal, and we have to make some consultations before we know the next line of action. But the point is that it has to be done within the ambit of the law.
We'll take a break and we'll be back with more. Stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, we don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome. If you're just joining us, it's CoreTV News at 4. For more of our news and information, visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NJ. You can get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space and news. The federal government has dismissed suggestions of a fresh outbreak of Ebola virus disease in the country. Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Health, Linus Awute, said at a news conference in Abuja that the scare stemmed from the death of a patient at the University of Calabar who showed symptoms of the disease. It disclosed that blood samples screened at the Urai Specialist Hospital in Edo State, however, showed no signs of Lassa fever or Ebola.
We have therefore followed the recent rumors of Ebola to find that it is a case of a 21-year-old male student of the University of Calabar who was brought into the casualty ward of the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital by the mother and other family members precisely on the 7th day of this month at about 1 a.m. And this has been followed up and it has been investigated clinically and also using laboratory tests. The young man was actually admitted with bleeding, diarrhea, vomiting, skin rashes, and mouth lesions. These are symptoms that are also very, very identical with that of Ebola, or similar. His temperature on admission was 37 degrees centigrade. As we are speaking now, it is very, very clear that it has nothing to do with Lassa fever. It also has nothing to do with Ebola. But it is also good that we go for that, to also isolate the strains and also find out what is it, if it is not Lassa fever, and it is not Ebola.
Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has expressed satisfaction with the recent performance of troops involved in counterinsurgency operations in northeast Nigeria. The governor noted that although 8 terrorists were arrested recently, the insurgent had for a while held a region with a population of 20 million people to ransom before its liberation. Speaking during the inauguration of a committee comprising attorney generals and commissioners of justice of northern Nigerian states, the governor described members of Boko Haram as young desperados whose aim is to unleash disaster.
To review the existing criminal justice system in its entirety in order to ensure that it is up to date and consistent with our current situation. The Boko Haram insurgency, which has been raging on for the past 6 years, is one of the many serious security challenges we are experiencing. It has been generally agreed that one of the root causes of the insurgency was unlicensed and inciting preaching by the sect, which inevitably stopped the violence and culminated in the extremely complicated and unconventional security situation facing this part of the country, and in particular the Northeast. The attendant consequences of the insurgency is the resort to the abduction and conscription of vulnerable and innocent people, particularly school children. The case of the Chibok girl saga has been universally condemned and still fresh in our minds. Although not widely reported in the media, there have been series of abductions of innocent people by the Boko Haram insurgents. I must, however, commend the efforts of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for his remarkable achievements in the security sector. His dogged commitment.
The Osun State Police Commissioner has warned hearing officers to show high level of professionalism and decorum or face stiff sanctions from higher authority. The CP, Kolawole Oshidipo, who was on tour of some of the formations under the command, says discipline will be enforced to ensure that the force delivers on its mandates to the people of the state. Rashid, who was at the interactive session with the CP, filed in this report.
Taking a cue from the earlier visit of the Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Arase, to Osun State, the Commissioner of Police, who recently resumed, also made a tour to various police formations in his jurisdiction. At the Police Mobile Force Squadron 39 based in Oshogbo, Jide Agbola, the commandant, charged the police chief to help in restoring the glory of the Nigerian police force. For his part, the CP says the glory of the force starts from each officer, admonishing them to adhere strictly to laid down rules, especially those on firearm usage.
So you will agree with me that a lot has changed over the years, and the PMF is fast losing the glamour that is known for back in your days. It is hoped that by your visit today, officers and men will benefit from a wealth of experience.
You are responsible for your action. And that's why you have this in your first order, the use of your words. It is very important. It is your Bible. Because you carry rifle and you have right to use that rifle, when it is necessary. And that when, you must know it.
The CP added that in spite of the challenges, the rank and file must discharge their duties professionally, concluding that the era of impunity is over.
Once I watch, unlimited, and our resources are limited. The government is trying. Look at what the government of this state has done. APC, vehicles. We continue to ask more, but it cannot be enough. But what we have now, we manage this and make sure that we patrol properly and make sure there is peace and security in this state.
The CP also visited other formations, including the Oshogbo Area Command. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
A market project in Owerri, the Imo State capital, has led to division and rancor between market men and women, with two sets of protesting youth taking opposite sides on the continuation or otherwise of the project. Imo State correspondent Ajibade Aofeso has more in this report from Owerri.
World Bank, as it is popularly known, is one of the communities that make up Owerri West local government of Imo State. For the people living in the community and most part of the Owerri West local government, the market in the community is an important one. But despite this stated importance, why will anybody be against its rehabilitation?
Yeah, we don't agree. Government, leave free zone for us. We don't agree. Government, leave free zone for us. We don't agree.
For these men and women currently making use of the open space in front of the existing market, the project should stop.
In the market, why I say that it will be bloody and why government should not tamper with that very place. That place is a free zone according to the master plan of the town. That place is made for a car park. That place is made for car park. It's a grapevine. They're putting a permanent structure there will authenticate the master plan of the city.
This other group, for their part, says it is an opportunity for them to feel the impact of the government in the World Bank community.
As a person and Omugoma people have agreed that we need the presence of the government in our place, and we think this market project should be a very nice one. People who are protesting are non-indigenous of Omugoma.
This war of words will continue until the appropriate authorities step in to prevent a degeneration into physical confrontation. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
In business, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative says the federal government lost $969 million in revenue from the crude oil swap deal between 2009 and 2012. NEITI's Communications Director Oji Ogbonaya Oji made the disclosure in decades at a forum and subsidy organized by Media for Oil Reform in collaboration with School of Media Communication at Atlantic University. Ogbonaya Oji said there had been public concern when it became apparent that the objective of the arrangement was being compromised. He explained that in 2012 alone, the cost of crude oil swapped was $6.4 billion, but value of refined products returned to Nigeria was $6.3 billion. This is said left a sum of $100 million as revenue loss incurred by government. He maintained that similar concerns were raised with subsidy payments, noting that NEIT's audit report disclosed that 4 trillion naira was oil subsidy payments between 2006 and 2012. The NEITI media director said the Transparency Initiative audit also revealed that NNPC claimed that a total sum of 1.7 trillion naira was paid as subsidy between 2006 and 2012. He said the government needed to conduct an in-depth investigation into the management of subsidy payments and ensure that NNPC followed due process in the PSF scheme. We'll take another break and we'll be back with stories from outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome. And on the foreign scene, migration experts say the number of migrants arriving on the Greek island near Turkey has surged to about 7,000 a day in the past week. The International Organization for Migration said the average in last September was 4,500 a day. Fears of worsening weather may account for the surge, the IOM says. The EU's migrant relocation scheme got underway on Friday when 20 Eurasians left Italy on a flight to Sweden. Some EU member states object to the scheme. Meanwhile, Turkey has voiced concerns about the potential for even more Syrian migrants arriving at its borders because of Russian airstrikes in Syria. The warning was issued by Turkish Foreign Ministry spokesman Tanju Belig. Turkey already hosts about 2 million Syrian refugees, many of whom are desperate to leave the emergency camps and start a new life in Europe. India's foreign ministry has complained to the Saudi Arabian authorities following an alleged brutal attack on a 58-year-old Indian woman in Rida, Kasturi. Muniratman's right hand was chopped off allegedly by her employer when she tried to escape from their house last week. Muniratman, who was working as a domestic help, is now recovering in hospital. Her family also alleged that she was being tortured by her Saudi employers. Saudi authorities, however, has not commented on the incident yet. Thank you so very much for staying with us at this time. My name is Omotayo Alo. Good afternoon.